Are you ready?
The question is, are you ready?
I think I am ready for another broadcast.
We're going to broadcast.
And the show is called
Brozan.
And You Are.
Ready to mumble.
But your name is
Zach Zichter.
And I'm Jay Warren.
What?
How are the holidays for you?
Holidays were fine.
Yeah?
I'm more excited. I look forward.
Yeah.
Never backwards.
So you're looking for the new year.
To 2017. What about you?
You really sound like the white guy from The White Guy and the Indian right now. There's like a scene in the movie where he kind of talks like that. Low cost housing. You kind of sound like that.
You think he's making fun of Native Americans there?
That whole bit between the dynamic is to make fun of Indians and white people. So
Well, that's not very nice.
you make fun of me all the time, and I'm part Native.
I feel like you say that as a way just to make me feel bad for ever making fun of you.
Well, you're not all the way wrong. But
Yeah, okay. So
do you have a New Year's resolution?
do I have a New Year's resolution? Huh. Maybe to get this podcast started.
Well, we're talking, so it's already started.
Oh, right.
Let's
get this started.
Speaking of which, we're getting into feedback here. My brother had I showed him the podcast, and for one, I had explained to him what a podcast was.
Mm-hmm.
And after I showed it to him, his comment was, it really crystallized the idea that life is pointless and that we're all just kind of wandering around doing nothing.
Uh-huh.
He later recanted a little bit and said that's just the podcast idea in general, but that was his feedback.
So not you specifically. You specifically aren't responsible for the downfall of mankind.
Not me specifically. You and I specifically, but not me specifically.
It's humankind, Jay. You were supposed to pipe in and say humankind.
Okay. Humankind.
We got to rewrite history here.
Okay.
So, that's some feedback from one Kirk from
Pierre,
South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
We have some more feedback from, is it Simeon?
Simeon, yep.
Simeon from United Arab Emirates, which...
He's a teacher there.
He's a teacher in United Arab Emirates, which is what? Is that in Nebraska?
It's like Texarkana. It's like a mixture of states.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he says, quote, flint corn, which is, we talked about flint corn, I don't know, a couple episodes ago. Anyway, flint corn is sometimes called such because, all caps, because.
Yeah, lots of emphasis. As if we're stupid not to know this.
Because flint corn is sometimes called such because the outside kernel has to be as hard as flint to protect the inner endosperm.
And is flint hard? I guess I'm not familiar.
What?
Well, what?
I just know the water's bad there.
Yeah. You're not growing anything, not any kind of corn there.
Mm-hmm. My grandparents always used to say, if you don't clean out your ears, corn will grow.
I think I've heard that from my elders too. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was flint corn though.
I don't think there was any specific kind of corn. No. And he also said, "Do men wear shoulder pads?" Which you are sticking by your guns.
Hey. Which my guns are in holsters held up by shoulder straps. So men wear shoulder pads and shoulder straps.
Do they now?
Right. That's how you hold your holster.
Mm-hmm.
Because your whole holster holds your guns and your straps hold your holster.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Moving on.
Moving right along. We had some from another. He also, Garrett from South Dakota, or as we affectionately call him, the locals call him, Red Fartnickel. He wanted to let you know. I just talked to him. He wanted me to let you know that accordions go in and out, but they definitely don't have sex.
And how does he know this?
Red knows a lot of stuff.
Well,
and he also wanted me to mention, since he doesn't have a Facebook account, he's also wanted me to let you know that we need to say the email address more often.
Oh, well, the email hey, Mr. Fartnickel, you can get a hold of us via use your little word processor, print out a few words, mail it to the electronic address on your screen right now, which is bros.anne.podcast. I don't know how to spell podcast at gmail.com. So figure that out.
Yeah.
And I want proof about this. The accordions, yeah, they go in and out, in and out, in and out. That sounds a lot like sex to me.
I think things are going in and out without having sex. Don't give me that look.
Okay, fine. Maybe your accordions haven't had sex, but again, there are single people. That doesn't mean they're not capable of having sex. And there might be single accordions. You get two in a room. You just wait and see.
Do you think that there'll be a bunch of other little accordions running around?
Well, here this is it's a common misconception that the first time you have sex that you automatically get pregnant. It's not.
But you make it sound like accordions have nothing else on their mind. That's all they want to do.
They're always moaning. Think about it. Every time you just like you compress them, you stretch them. It's like it's just this constant moaning.
It's an instrument.
It's very sexual in nature.
Are you telling me that you get turned on by accordions?
No, no, that's not what I said. You are. Or wait, are you projecting? No. All right, moving on. It's getting weird and awkward and uncomfortable.
For you. Leah from California says, "Welcome to hell."
Right. I assume she's referring to one of our intros. Yeah, we welcome you to hell as well.
Yeah, welcome to hell, Leah.
And
plan on staying a long time.
There's no return ticket.
Yeah.
It's a one-way.
She also told me, Leah from California, she asked us why we couldn't do a good show like The Office.
Ouch.
Yeah, and I told her, well, the name of the show is Roseanne. That's why.
But you like Roseanne.
I do. You don't.
It's fine.
You're fine.
It's growing on me.
Maybe after we're done with Roseanne, we can do The Office.
Yeah, and that would be like, what, 2020?
Yeah, pretty much. Because there's 9 seasons to go through, Leah, so get comfortable.
Yeah.
You're in hell.
If you're listening to this in 2020, we totally just pop over to our sister podcast, which is The Orifice.
The Brofice.
Oh, you said The Brofice. I was just going to say The Orifice, where two guys just get right in there. George from Brookings has asked, he has typed in via the Facebook.
Oh, okay.
As the Germans used to say. They never said that. George is asking about our episode backlog and has noticed a common trend that our older... If you go to SoundCloud, if you follow us on iTunes or SoundCloud, you'll notice that we only have a few episodes available. And the reason for that is that SoundCloud gives us a limited amount of time. But that doesn't mean that you can't go back and enjoy the backlog of Roseanne. If you want to keep up with us on a podcast app, just use SoundCloud, use iTunes. But if you missed a podcast, go to the YouTube.
We're on there?
On the YouTubes, as my grandpa would say.
On the YouTubes. There's lots of tubes on there. I did get some 0-hour feedback from Rob from Wyoming.
By 0 hour, you mean?
He just texted me.
Whoa, fresh off the presses is how text work.
He said it's actually, he's usually, not nice, but this is actually kind of nice.
What?
It's a mixture. It's kind of like a backhanded nice. You can expect Rob to be all the way nice.
Before you do that, how backhanded is it? Is it like, tennis backhand where it's like,
It's a little bit softer than that. Yeah, a little bit like that.
Okay, go ahead.
I enjoyed this show. I get a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. I just wish we could get some of those pictures of Jay naked recording. Then, well, that would just be spectacular.
I have a feeling he didn't write any of that, and you just made all that up.
You want to see the text?
We can do a photo session, Jay. I will just have to wear what are those? They're not glasses. People wear them when they're sleeping during the day.
A blindfold?
Well, okay, but they're not called blindfolds. I mean,
Sleeping mask?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I don't know if that's what it's called.
I'll do that, and I'll just put the camera on like rapid fire, and then I'll just shoot everywhere like a machine gun, and then you can sort through those and see which one gives the best lighting towards your unit.
Okay.
I just don't want to see it.
Well, you're seeing it right now because I'm naked.
You see me locking eyes with you?
I see wandering eyes.
No.
That's what I see.
No.
Is that your new thing? Is the Emperor? Can you give me a little bit more Emperor?
No. Because it's my best Emperor.
I'm going to see Rogue One tomorrow.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
You want to know how it ends?
You made that joke last time.
I know, but do you actually want to know?
I imagine it ends with them getting the plans for the Death Star.
Way to ruin it for everybody out there.
All right, so now we're going to start the episode. What minute mark are we in?
We're only 11 minutes in, so
okay, so we're actually doing good.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine this we'll break an hour and a half today.
So today we're watching.
Lock in.
Today we're watching episode 12,
and episode 12 is titled
"The Monday Through Friday Show."
And give me a little synopsis. What are we about to partake in?
You know what? I can't remember off the top of my head what this one's about.
Oh, well, I have tons and tons of information regarding the whatabouts. It's like whereabouts, but it's the whatabouts of this episode.
Do you care to share with the rest of us?
Yeah, like Becky's like listening to some loud music because she's trying to stay focused on studying anatomy. That's one of the things that's going on. And then Dan and what's her name? The main character?
Roseanne.
Yeah, Dan and Roseanne are talking about having a honeymoon because they never really had a first
okay,
one.
Yep. And they're debating. He wants to go camping somewhere, and she wants to go to Florida or some bullshit.
Yeah, because we can definitely see where your your loyalties lie.
I don't like camping or Florida. So,
but before we even get to that, there's we don't talk a lot about DJ because oftentimes he's not part of the main plot, but there's always these little cute little scenes. And the episode starts with DJ looking at a photo album, and DJ's like, "Who's this? Who's this guy?" He's like, "Well, Dan is like, that's me." He's like, "What? This guy's young." I don't know. It's cute.
Yeah. Well, at that age, I don't know. Like, it's hard when you're that young. It's hard to think of your parents as younger than they ever were.
It's true.
So, like, to think of them like even now, like, that blows my mind to like imagine my dad at my age.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And when you get to that age, you're like, wow, they didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
Yeah, at some point you just kind of humanize your parents and just like they made all the same mistakes you made and all that stuff. So
for sure, the last part of the episode that we haven't talked about, the last thread, is that Darlene has picked up a part-time job as delivering papers.
Did you ever have a paper route?
I did not. However, my wife, whom I love, had a paper route.
Oh yeah, I had a paper route. But mine was different. It was like one of those shopper papers, so only delivered like once a week.
Okay.
And I don't even know what my wage was. I just know every like 2 weeks I got a check for $9, which as a 10-year-old is a lot of money.
Oh sure.
And
it's a lot of money now.
And I just delivered on my street, which is maybe like 20 houses.
So is there like a gutter where all of the old shoppers that you
I did that once because nobody paid attention except for like a few people who had like an ad in the paper.
Yeah.
And my mom had found like where I had thrown them away. Like she went for a walk like the next day and found that I had like thrown them out at the end of the street.
Good work.
And that was the last time I ever did that.
Yeah. Because were you fired?
No, I wasn't fired.
I see.
The people that owned the paper were actually friends of my parents, which just makes me even more disrespectful. But
fair enough.
And then I got a job working stuffing papers for them. So like the summer, I was about to turn 14, and I got a job putting inserts that summer. So like once a week, once again, you had to get there really early in the morning and just be stuffing papers all day.
It's gotta suck.
It did suck.
Stuffing papers. No, is that like after Thanksgiving, all the leftover stuffing, they put that into a mill and it's like kind of like recycled paper type thing?
It's exactly like that.
Okay.
No, papers all come not in one piece when you originally put them together.
Oh, sure, yeah, and there's even a bit in this episode where
so you have to like stuff and put them together.
Fold it and everything.
Fold it and put them together. Mm-hmm. And then you like package them up and ship them out to where they need to go.
Ship them out.
But that would be like that was actually a long work day. Like I mean, especially for you're only working 1 day a week.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like 13. You'd get there Tuesday, like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
And then you'd leave at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah.
You're a hard worker, Jay.
And that summer, I worked specifically to save up enough money to buy a Nintendo 64.
Wow.
And I bought Star Fox 64 with it.
What year was that?
That would be 97. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't think I got a 64 until turn of the century. That's probably 2000 probably.
I remember when I bought the game and the unit together, it was like $220 some, $230, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it was well worth it. It was awesome.
Just think about 10 or 15 years from now, which would be the equivalent of maybe almost 20 years. We'll be looking back and saying, "Oh, what you got a new Nintendo Switch or a Wii U or a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox 27." We'll be looking back on it now. It's like you have to use your
27.
You have to use your hands. It's such a baby
game.
Yeah.
Our episode froze up on us here.
Oh, crud.
What'd you do?
I just have to hit play.
Okay.
Anyway, speaking back or bringing us back to the episode, I've got a few clips here that we can help us get into the mode of what's going on. I mentioned that Becky is studying for some, I guess, an anatomy class, but I thought it was kind of a weird way to introduce it. They introduce it with just loud music. You probably won't be able to hear the loud music, but you can hear Dan complaining about it.
Becky!
What is it?
Would you please turn that down? I'm trying to watch a game.
I'm trying to learn biology.
Well, all you need to know about biology is that the head bone's connected to the neck bone, and the neck bone's going to be broken unless you get up there and turn that down.
Do you remember, like, I used to do that when I was studying in high school.
You listen to loud music?
Like, yeah. Like, it wouldn't be loud, but I'd listen to music in general. And now, like, any extra noise that I'm trying to, like, focus.
It's hard.
It is.
So, the exact situation, but it was in a group study. So, I didn't study a lot, but I would listen to music. I probably did that, but I would use headphones. Anyway, there was a project, a class project. We required a group of 4 people, and I went over to this house. Her name, let's just call her Annie Kripe, we'll call her. Anyway, from Roman, South Dakota. And anyway, we were there, and her parents were the postmaster general and the postmaster general's wife, just very good, upright citizens. And I had brought a CD to listen to, and it was a band called 311, and I don't know. I mean,
which album by 311?
It was I want to say their second one, Grassroots, which is fine. It's whatever. It's not great music, but at the time I was really digging it. And there's one song in there that describes a situation where Nick Hexum, the lead singer, was stopped by a cop and he refused to let him search his car. So as we're studying, we're at this house, and the mother comes in to see how it's going. Do we need any treats or whatever? And at that exact moment, the music cuts, and Nick Hexum says, "And I will tell a cop that I know my effing rights, and we can match wits all night for real." And one, it's incredibly cheesy.
Mm-hmm, it is.
2, swear words just happened in front of. We weren't even that old, so I'm like.
How old were you?
I suppose, like 8th grade, 9th grade, maybe.
Oh, wow, yeah, that'd be a big no-no, I guess.
Uh-huh. And she just kind of, exited the room, didn't say anything.
You're not allowed to hang out with that Zeke Richter kid, that's what she said.
I know, right? I was a bad boy. The bad boy.
Bad boy.
That just reminded of that situation. It was pretty embarrassing. The things that you think of that keep you in line, that's one of those things that keeps me in line. Always got to prepare for bad moments. How could if I don't, whatever I leave the house with, is this going to get me into trouble? I try to think about that. It's very paralyzing.
It sounds like it.
It's paralysis from analysis.
Paralysis from analysis. My man.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So back to the episode. And the next clip we have is, well, I guess we already talked about Darlene's paper route, but she's not exactly liking it.
No. She thinks it's a get-rich-quick scheme.
That's true.
And she's really showing her age because you're not going to get rich off delivering paper. I guess since you don't have to pay rent, you'll be doing okay. But
that's true. But even, and I think Dan says something like, if there was a get-rich-quick scheme that worked, your mother would have found it. I think he said something like that. But this is Darlene complaining.
Who was it?
Oh, it was Mrs. Clyde. She claims she never got her newspaper.
Well, that's the second time she's claimed that this week, Darlene. You better get over there right away.
I need some time off.
So they've been getting nothing but phone calls from people around town that haven't been getting their paper. But if she's not getting the papers to the people, how is she that tired?
yeah, I mean, I wonder how big her route is.
2 blocks.
Yeah, it can't be that big,
Right.
But, when you're that age, like any work extra than what you're doing always just seems like so tantamount, I guess would be the word.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Those tantamounts.
Mm-hmm.
What? Sorry. So then that's the second thread. So we have the anatomy with Becky. We have the paper route with Darlene. And then between Dan and Roseanne, we have this whole idea of their honeymoon that they didn't really have.
Yep.
So here's a clip.
Ah, come on. We never had a real honeymoon, and you know it. It's the one missing piece in an otherwise picture-perfect romance.
Roseanne,
What?
are you saying that you want a honeymoon?
No, I'm saying I want to be tarred and feathered.
What a weird thing to say. She's funny.
She is funny.
And so they get into this argument about who's more romantic. And who do you think, just before we even listen to what they have to say, who do you think is more romantic?
Oh, jeez. One of these things is not quite like the other.
I meant between you and me.
Oh, between us?
Yeah, who's more romantic?
Me.
What?
Yeah.
How do you figure?
Just figure.
I think you figure wrong.
Oh, really? You think you're romantic than me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So if we had like a honeymoon podcast, where would the honeymoon podcast be?
Our honeymoon, where are we recording at?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking me?
Where would we record our honeymoon podcast?
Skywalker Ranch. Great sound.
The sound would be pristine.
Yeah.
But where...
And we'd be at your darling George Lucas's place, so...
Whoa. You think George Lucas is my darling?
Yeah.
My darling?
Yeah.
You're the one that has a favorite movie, a Star Wars movie that is actually directed by George Lucas. I like Revenge of the Sith the most.
Return of the Jedi is still really good, though. I like Ewoks.
I think we talked about that in a couple episodes ago.
We did.
And my wife, whom I love, was surprised to hear I wasn't on board with Ewoks. I just want to make it clear that I'm on board with Ewoks. I just think if I would have seen them first as an adult, that maybe they would have been a little bit But because I viewed them as a kid, the nostalgia, I think, is enough.
They're really ugly. They're ugly little things. Anyway, where would you go, Mr. Romance?
Well, man, my worlds are colliding right now. This web of lies. Where would I go? To record the perfect podcast. I suppose I would go back to a week last Thursday when we recorded the most beautiful podcast ever. I would just go re-record it.
You just record it down here?
Where's down here?
This is in your office.
I don't know. We're at your apartment, and you're naked.
So that's where you'd record the honeymoon podcast?
Sure. And by
Way to go, Mr. Romance.
Why? Just to tread, comfortable ground?
Oh.
Doesn't it feel very lived in?
Yeah, because someone lives here.
Oh. Fair enough. Well, let's see what Dan and, what's her name? Roseanne seem to think about themselves.
Are you saying that you're more romantic than I am?
I most certainly am.
All right, Your Royal Highness. I'll tell you what. You pick a honeymoon spot, I'll pick a honeymoon spot, and then we'll see which one's the most romantic.
You're on, beef boy.
Beef boy, eh? Also, is that a reference to when she says certainly, is that a reference to...
I think it's a Three Stooges.
Three Stooges, yeah.
Certainly.
So, what do you think of calling people beef boys?
I don't have anything against it, I guess. I don't really know what it means. It's kind of a weird thing to say to someone.
It is. She has a lot of weird pet names for Dan. I'm not sure how to take it. So, I know we just keep playing clips after clips, but this episode had a lot of fun.
Just had a lot of clips for you? Okay.
Yeah. It's like, how could I not share this one? So obviously we just heard that Dan and Roseanne are going to try to come up with the most romantic getaway, and they're going to show each other their ideas. But Jackie also has an idea, because somehow she always shoehorns her way into these episodes.
Yep. Jackie is a meddler. A no good Nick, really.
Oh, no good what? A Mick?
A no good Nick?
You called her a Mick?
Nick. With an N. No good Nick.
Is that you're using an N-word?
It isn't. It is a N-word, but it's not the N-word.
Oh.
Because you always take it racial.
Do I?
Usually.
What's a Nick?
I don't know.
Oh, so it's kind of like a Nervous Nelly.
Yeah, something like that.
Or Nervous Nancy.
Overzealous Zeke.
Okay, so you were like no good Nick.
Yeah.
All right. I thought there was something.
Zany Zeke is another one that people use.
Do people use that? What's my name again?
Zach. Zany Zach.
That's better. Oh. So, Jackie, or as you like to call her, Jeeky, has her own idea of what the perfect honeymoon would be.
You know, it'd be my idea of a perfect honeymoon.
Mel Gibson and a stick of butter.
I guess that's Roseanne's understanding of what Jackie would like for a honeymoon. What do you think of that image? Mel Gibson and a stick of butter.
What do you do with the stick of butter? I don't understand.
I don't know. Oh. You melt it, put it on popcorn, enjoy a movie?
Yeah, probably watch one of his movies.
You think that's what it meant?
Yeah, we'll sit down and watch Lethal Weapon.
So why didn't you just say Mel Gibson, popcorn, and a stick of butter?
It rolls off the tongue better if you just say stick of butter and Mel Gibson.
When you just say, but that sounds sexual.
Does it?
Well,
see, like I said, you always take it to weird territory.
But when I hear laugh track, there must be something naughty about Mel Gibson and a stick of butter.
Maybe it's funny to see them eating a stick of butter. Like they split in half and they're just sitting there, ha ha ha. Because who eats a stick of butter?
Yeah, who eats a stick of butter? So you do something with the stick of butter. What does a stick of butter do? It creates pliancy. It makes something pliant.
Does it?
Isn't that the word?
Pliant?
Pliant.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I have a feeling neither do you.
It causes lubrication.
Okay.
Like Lubriderm?
Which is?
Everyone knows what Lubriderm is.
Never heard of that word before.
It's a product.
A product.
It's like a lubricant.
Okay. So like WD-40?
No, it's like a lotion.
Like a lotion.
Mm-hmm.
like lotion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, if you get dry elbows, you put some Lubriderm on.
Lubriderm. Okay. So maybe one of them just has dry skin, and they're using butter to...
I don't think that makes sense, because...
I mean, they are poor, so it's different.
Oh, so this is like their own Lubriderm.
It's like a thrift thing.
So the audience was laughing because like, ah ha ha, they're poor.
Yeah, which I don't think is funny. I don't think we should laugh at the poor.
Well, then why did the audience laugh? So
it was the
really
80s.
the joke writers, it was in bad taste.
Yeah, 80s. It was a different time.
All right. So we learned what Jackie thought. Now going back to that first story we mentioned about Becky and school. At school, we talked about anatomy, and they're gonna try to make her. What did you have to do anything weird in anatomy?
I didn't have a specific anatomy class. In biology, we had to dissect fetal pigs.
Ugh,
Yeah. Which I don't know.
weird.
There was biology too, which I didn't have to take. But one day, I was leaving school because it was block scheduling, so my class I was done with school by that time. Mm-hmm. But there was still school going on, and the biology class was dissecting cats. And I watched this dude chase a girl out of the lab, like holding this cat by his head and like kind of like chasing after her with it.
Yeah, I would run away.
And she's like, "You're so gross." He's like, "Ugh."
That is gross.
It was gross.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I grew up on a farm and have seen many dead animals. It doesn't change the fact that it's gross and not cool.
Now, I want to stop right here because there's a story about you
No.
and I with dead cats.
What?
There was one when you still lived at that farm. We were all upside. we were up.
This is we tread this ground.
We were up in the barn, and I spotted what was a cattail, and so I kind of kicked some hay up, and I'm like, "That's all there was this cattail." And I'm like, "Zeke, there's a cattail up here," and Zeke, unfazed, indifferent, just like, "Yeah, probably died up here, got eaten by rats."
Well, it probably did.
Yeah, but you're trying to come off as compassionate now, but at the time,
What?
you were like, "Who?"
The amount of the amount of compassion, is that like a weird potato thing where it's like you make mash and compassion? The amount of compassion required for a situation like that is directly correlated to the amount of flesh, rotten or otherwise, still on the bones. So there's a reason when we open up King Tut's tomb and we see mummified remains and we don't get sad. We don't think, oh, poor King Tut, because there's no possible way that he'd be living right now because it's thousands of years old. Mm-hmm. That cat was basically just fluff and bones. There's nothing we could have done. That cat, even if it wouldn't have died. It wouldn't. No cat, even if it went to its old age and got on Medicaid and was using Medicare Part D and had all its prescriptions, it wouldn't last as long as that skeleton was sitting in that barn. Therefore, there was nothing to mourn.
The mental gymnastics you have to do to get through the day just blew my mind.
I think you're overanalyzing.
That poor little cat with its own little tail. That's all that was left.
You don't know. Maybe it died to save someone. Maybe it had a really heroic life, and then it died, and then it decomposed, and it went back into. It gave sustenance to the rat, and then the rat was really nice to this spider named Charlotte, and then Charlotte met this pig named Babe, and Babe.
That's the Charlotte's Web. That's Charlotte's Web. That's
and then
what you're
I'm conflating, and then Babe became this awesome pig who could do weird tricks, and then eventually became Bacon and gave us all sustenance.
Mm-hmm.
So just think about it that way.
Is that how you thought about it in the moment when you were just like, I'm glad that cat's dead?
I never thought that. In fact, we're going to get on to a couple clips where you'll see exactly how I feel about animals.
Okay.
But first, let's hear what Becky has to say about what's happening in her anatomy class.
Hey, how was school?
All right, except for biology. Mr. Hodge is making us dissect a frog in lab.
Oh, I remember when we had to do that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you guys may have done it, but I think it's morally wrong to hack up poor defenseless animals.
Well, the frog's already dead by the time you're hacking on it, ain't it?
Yeah, but if I didn't have to dissect it, they wouldn't have to kill it.
Hey, if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. If you don't want to dissect something, you don't have to dissect something. But if a rat needs some food, some sustenance, do you think anybody was going to eat those dissected frogs?
The rats didn't eat a dissected frog; they ate a cat.
Okay.
I think that's a common theme in a lot of 80s sitcoms is like some kid not wanting to dissect a frog.
There was also that scene in E.T.
Yeah, where he saves all the frogs.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what show it is, but I want to say it was Saved by the Bell, actually, where they're like, I didn't want to dissect a frog, so now the school has bought computer programs to simulate dissecting a frog.
You would think we'd be to that point where we could do all of that with simulation, but maybe that costs more money.
I don't know. Maybe somebody who has a kid in high school, or if you're a high schooler that somehow is listening to this, you can tell us.
Also, if you hate animals, write in. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
And we're going to publish your name and address. We'll dox you. No, we won't do that. That's illegal.
Zeke will just send you, like, I understand. I, too, hate animals.
You know, okay, this right now we're to a clip. This will tell you, and it's long. We won't listen to all of it, but this will give you an idea of how I feel about animals.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
So get ready. Buckle up. Are you buckled up?
I'm buckled.
Are you ready for your... No? Go ahead.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
If you gain weight from too much chow, I will never call you a cow. I respect you and cows.
Don't use cow as an insult.
If you eat every single fig, I will never call you a pig. I respect you and pigs.
Don't use pig as an insult. Animals are innocent. Don't be speciesist. Never use the name of an animal as an insult for a human.
Animals are innocent.
What in the hell was that? Where did you find that?
My wife, whom I love, found it via some online news show. There's some vegans out there writing songs, and as you can tell, just straight up solid gold hits about what it means to be a vegan and how animals are innocent.
Huh.
So mind blown, eh?
That's one way to put it.
I mean, if I'll never call you a sheep because I respect you and sheep.
I will say that the term, anytime I hear somebody trying to win an argument using the word sheeple, I automatically stop listening.
Why is that?
Because that is the dumbest term. And just like not like at this point, it's just not creative. Like put a little like if you're gonna use terms like that, be a little creative. Come up with something of your own. I don't know what you could use.
Mm-hmm.
That's your job. I'm not going to come up with it for you.
Well, if you eat every single fig, I will never call you a pig because I respect you and pigs.
Well, pigs don't eat figs.
There's more, by the way.
You know what? I got a good idea.
Let's not listen to it.
Let's not listen to it. Let's.
It's pretty good.
No.
Animals are innocent. Don't be speciesist.
That's not really a lyric, is it?
It is. You're gonna go home. You're gonna look it up, and you're gonna be just singing it to yourself forever. It's amazing.
It's amazing. Okay. Well, I'm curious. Does Becky go through with it? Does she?
Well, we can see, or we can listen to another.
I'm more curious about what happened with Becky.
Oh, okay. Well, then
okay.
We'll show this clip.
When I told Hodges I wouldn't do it, all the kids cheered. But then 2 seconds later, they started cutting up their frogs. What a bunch of hypocrites.
Well, Becky, you are the best student in that class, and it's just too bad they don't give out grades for standing up for what you believe in. You did the right thing. The hip thing, the now thing, the happening thing, the 90s thing.
The hip thing, the now thing, the 90s thing. That's not even the 90s yet.
No, it's not. But the 90s must have been like on the mind already of the public.
I suppose by that time,
because this was going to be probably 89.
So Reagan was on his way out.
Reagan was already out.
Okay, all right.
They would about this point, the first Bush would probably be president.
Mm-hmm. Boy, what a good What a good year for SNL. Not gonna do it. Isn't that Dana Carvey did?
That was Dana Carvey. He also did an awesome Ross Perot.
Yeah, I certainly can't do that. Not that I could do the Bush one, but so yeah, Becky wraps up by saying, "Yeah, I didn't," and I was really kind of surprised, pleasantly, to see that Roseanne was like, "You know what? Good for you." But it definitely goes with her being a activist, and I bet that Roseanne would actually like that song that we played.
I don't know. I think I've heard she uses the term pig a few times. So,
well, maybe she
should listen to the song.
Yeah, she's a little speciesist
and rethink her life.
Want to buy a death stick? And then, okay, so that kind of wraps up. Roseanne says, "Hey, that's okay. You're gonna get a C. Okay, no big deal, because you stood up for what you believe in." Mm-hmm. That was cool, but it's not the same for Darlene. Darlene, I don't know. I don't think it went as well for her.
No. What happened?
Oh, Darlene? Miss Clyde just called. She said she's looked in all her puddles and she still can't find her newspaper.
Well, that's not my problem anymore.
And why is that?
Mr. Adelroy gave me the axe.
Well, let's face it, Darlene. You quit on that job a long time before Adelroy fired you.
All right, but I'm 11 years old. I figure why not enjoy myself? I can live on my allowance for a few more years.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't think my parents would be impressed if I got fired for my paper route.
Well, you did throw them in a gutter.
One time I did that, and I got caught.
Jay, you quit on that paper route before they quit you.
I quit that actually myself. I got my job after that happened.
Okay.
Because it was a shopper and nobody cared.
Ah. So what happened?
My mom just told me not to do that ever again.
And then what happened? Did you do it again?
No, I never did again.
So you learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson.
We could have made a sitcom about that moment. It could be this episode. Maybe we'll develop a time machine. We'll go back and write an episode of Roseanne, and it'll be that episode. And then it'll be crazy because then, years later, we'll actually review it on a show we call Roseanne.
Yeah, we don't have a time machine.
We're going to develop it.
We don't have to do that.
Sounds like you don't want to do it.
What makes you think that?
Well, just the tone of your voice.
Well, you're just busy, and I'm busy. There's probably not a lot of time.
So not enough time for a honeymoon broadcast, huh?
Well, we're not going to Skywalker Ranch. We're just going to be in my apartment, naked.
Well, you're naked.
Yeah, which is a weird demand that you have.
I'll be wearing socks.
Just socks, huh? Okay.
I had a dream about... No, I'm going to let that go.
So, what did we think about this episode?
This episode is good. Like I said, I appreciate the Becky storyline. That animals are innocent.
They are.
How we shouldn't be speciesist. I thought that was really
speciesist. Yeah,
it was really good writing. We never really talked about how it wrapped up for Dan and Roseanne. Do you remember how it wraps up?
They get a honeymoon at their own house, which is your idea of a honeymoon.
Whoa.
And
because
Jackie is going to take them to Wizard World. Is that the name of it?
I think so. Something like that, yeah.
Which is some sort of rip-off amusement park name.
But that's good.
Yeah.
I think that's...
At this point, ABC hadn't been bought by Disney, so...
Oh, sure. Yeah. What was it? Right now we have the big 6 media companies, conglomerates, maybe even 4. At that time, there's probably like 10 or 15 or 20.
Oh, yeah.
There's lots. ABC, ESPN, Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm. They were all different companies.
Yep. Now they're all starting to become one.
Mm-hmm. And Walt Disney is managing it all from his grave.
Yep. His cryogenically frozen head.
In a gefilte fish jar.
Gefilte fish jar?
Gefilte fish.
What's a gefilte fish?
I don't know, but it was on the bloopers for Rush Hour 3. No, you know, in
why did I know that?
Futurama, you know how everyone's head is in a jar? I think the jars are called a gefilte fish jar.
Why do you think that?
Just a feeling I have. I got that special gefilte fish feeling.
Gefilte fish.
Down there. And yeah, and what's his name? Chris Tucker could not say gefilte fish. I'm probably saying it wrong too. So I'll have to watch the end credits of Rush Hour 3 just to freshen up on that pronunciation.
I don't think I've ever seen Rush Hour 3.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've only I think I've only seen the second one.
That's I like 1 and 3.
No.
It's I like that. I mean, I am like that with a lot of trilogies. I like the first and third Austin Powers. Second one, not so much.
I can't
despise all of them. I know.
I can't tell you how much I hate the third one.
What?
The third one is horrible.
Goldfinger?
Yeah. The only thing that's funny is like they at one point they have like the fake Austin Powers movie where like Danny DeVito plays Mini-Me.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like the beginning of how it opens.
Yeah, that part's pretty funny, but the rest of the movie I'm just like, I am done with this.
Oh.
Beyonce is a super fox.
Foxy Cleopatra?
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but she's very beautiful.
I thought it was Foxy Cleopatra.
Well, I'm just saying it doesn't matter. She's a super fox. I don't know what the name is.
Foxy Cleopatra.
Is that the name?
I think so.
Can we have it one more time just so the audience can...
I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I forgot.
But the first one's funny-ish. Second one's funny.
The first one was unique.
Yeah.
It later becomes less funny after, subsequent watches. Second one is like complete ripoff of the first. Third one, I thought the third one was different. It had a Godzilla homage. I thought that was fun. It plays a lot of the characters that were from the first two, so it does a lot of extra things. I like the peeing fountain. That was fun. I'm trying to think of other scenes from that movie. Anyway, yeah, that was fun. And it has your favorite person of all time from the 80s, the guy who played in the Wonder Years, Fred Savage.
Oh, that's right. He has the guy with the big mole.
Mm-hmm. Mole. And I think he plays the mole too.
Yeah, he does. He does.
And it's also, I think he's got Preparation H. That's the thing I was thinking about. I got Preparation H coming out my back door. Yeah, and then you've got Seth Green talking about how, yeah, Preparation H does feel good on the whole.
That's funny to you?
It was then, and it still is now.
Yeah, you like that? Okay.
I challenge any of you out there listening to tell me that that's not funny.
Rob from Wyoming
hates it.
Is on my side.
Haterade.
But now that I said that he's on my side, he's not going to be on my side.
Oh, he's confused now.
Yeah, now he doesn't know what to do.
What you gonna do, Rob from Wyoming?
I'll tell you what he's going to do. He's going to be like Switzerland and just be neutral. And now that I've said that, now he really doesn't know what to do. So
he'll just do something random.
Yeah, just a non sequitur.
Mm-hmm.
We really got you in a box right now, don't we, Rob?
Okay, well, what would you rate this episode?
This is actually a pretty good episode. I'd say an 8.
8?
8 out of 10.
I'd say a 7.
A 7. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember any references to corn.
No, neither do I.
So I think that's all just a bunch of hooey.
You think it's a bunch of hooey? Well, like I said, it's either corn is shown or mentioned.
Yeah, that's whatever.
So there could be like a jar in the cabinet that we didn't see that said it's corn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you're excited for tomorrow then? You said you're going to Rogue One?
I am. I'm excited to see Rogue One.
You weren't excited last week or the week before.
Like I said, I'm not a Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't go like the first week.
Who you going with?
I'm going with a couple people.
There's
a couple guys from work I'm going with. I'm going with
Red Fartnickel.
Red Fartnickel will be amongst us.
All right. Cool.
Who I did blow off at one point so I could record instead of.
Well, what time is the showing tomorrow?
I don't know. I have to look.
You want to broadcast instead?
I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can get away with that again.
I'll call you.
No.
All right. Well, is any final thoughts before we wrap up?
I don't think I have any final thoughts at this point. I think we kind of thought ourselves out. We're probably like in an hour mark, aren't we?
We are at 3 hours and 52 minutes.
3 hours and 52 minutes. Feels like it.
Ay. Give us your call sign.
All right. Well, I'm Jay Warren.
And I'm Zach Zichter.
This was Brozan. Everybody have a good week. Peace.